Prior to the mid-1980s, most business presentations were given as a stand-up talk, with at most 2 or 3 slides. That was it. Why? Because overhead projector slides were time-consuming and expensive to make back then. They were made by graphic designers and their bulky equipment down in the basement of the company somewhere. Then came the PC, and with regard to presentations, things went downhill. Back then, the average middle to top manager was about 12 years older than today. So, when the PC began making its way into big companies, top managers were the first to get them. But being older and slow to adopt new technologies, they were afraid of it. And it was just easier to send their secretaries off to learn how to use the programs designed for the office. Bundled in the training package was a program designed for making business presentations, with graphic, charting, and drawing functions. Now, the ones who should have been learning this program were those graphic designers in the basement. But that's what happens when you work in a basement. You're off the radar screen. So the secretaries ended up learning those programs too. And what happened? The secretaries brought their typing, text-generating paradigm to the presentation program. Unfortunately, they weren't trained graphic artists who knew how to depict complicated stuff visually, making it easy for an audience to comprehend. Nope, that was not quite their domain. They simply typed out text, wrapped them in frames and ovals, and added some color, and then, supposedly, that made it cool. But the damage was done. Having text on slides became the new standard. The only thing, it didn't help the audience at all. Instead, it forced them to read along and listen to a speaker at the same time, overloading their cognitive processes, not to mention getting bored watching speakers read to them. Then things got worse. 10 years later, the internet came along and we started developing our slides so that those who could not attend the presentation could at least get a copy of what they missed. But this meant that the text on the slides had to be even more detailed. Essentially, we started designing our presentations for people who would not show up, who I call the phantom. Those who did attend found it hard to cope with the flood of printed words. And if that wasn't bad enough, a number of years after that, we got the LCD projector, allowing us the convenience to add a lot more slides to already deadly boring, full of text presentations. So in less than 30 years, we evolved, in business especially, from speaking freely to an audience to a kind of PowerPoint karaoke. So now what do? We say we need the documentation for our colleagues, for our customers, for our boss. The situation looks hopeless, but there is an answer.